Hey guys, welcome to DCA Crypto and another DCA Bot update. It's been a relatively good week this week. I think first thing to say is apologies for last week. So for whatever reason, the audio settings got a little bit messed up and there was no audio to the video, so I had to pull that. Early. We'll take a quick look at both weeks. This week, last week was an interesting week. We did not. It was the first week in quite a while that we didn't make a profit in Mizar, so interesting results, and we'll take a look at that. I guess before we get started, yesterday I published my Binance Bot strategy in the Mizar marketplace. That means that you can go in there and once you've connected Binance to Mizar, you can follow along with my strategy, and when I make profit, you make profit too. That's available. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. So let's jump into this week's update. So we'll start with Mizar and then we'll flip across into 3Commas. So as you can see, this week has been a green week. We're $325 in the green. Obviously, we've got a few hours left until the end of today. So we could see that increase a little bit. As for the previous week, first red week that we've had, first proper red week that we've had, whilst running these bots in Mizar. Now, if we drop down onto the day view, you can see we had a substantially large loss on the 11th of Feb. Now, the primary reason for that was the pullback on BTC. We got a lot of our safety orders filled, and I think the actual day was either the 9th or the 8th where Bitcoin pulled back. But given we've got a 3-day timeout on some of those deals, we didn't take the losses until 3 days later, 2-3 days later. Now, I think the interesting thing to note there was if we took the losses on the day, we'd have been substantially worse off than waiting for some of those following days for the bounce. So it worked in a sense in our favor, but red's still never good, right? So taking a quick look at the bots themselves. So we'll jump in and just take a quick look at the bots themselves. All of these are now in profit. I've turned some of the bots off after back testing and real testing. Wasn't wholly happy with the performance, so a couple have been switched off, but we're still running 4 in here. In terms of open positions, take a quick look there. We've currently got $1,328 in open positions with a total unrealized loss of $14.78. If I just filter this by P&L, we've got 33 positions open, and none of them are in bad shape. Now, that covers everything for Mizar. So if we jump across and have a look at 3Commas, so last couple of days I've been caught out twice on some short trades for Key. So Key BUSD in the last day has pumped 50%. Now obviously I've been shorting that, and it didn't turn out great, and there were an 8% pump yesterday. So we got caught out with a $90 loss, I think it were $100 loss on Key yesterday, and then a $60-something loss on Key today. We could take a quick look at the bots in a second, but I guess first of all let's just look at statistics. So let's look at the week list. So last week we had a relatively good week, $275. And then this week we're down 11.77 on the basis of those key trades. Now, it's not all bad news, because whilst we've lost money in the shorts, because we're still holding key as the underlying asset, you know, the remaining key that I do have has pumped 50% too. So, you know, not all a bad story. And if we take a look at the month, you know, we're projected right now to hit $435 with 9 days remaining. Let's just take a quick look at bots for a moment, and we'll switch that into running and paused on real accounts and 7 days. So as you can see, I had one of the high risk bots running. Now, in last week's video, I did a quick update from a BTC perspective around whether switching off those bots would be a good idea, given where we were in the market. And I think, let's see if I can pull that in. We were at the time of the video last week, we'd kind of come down, we tested this support, so we could see that this had broken through overhead resistance. See, you know, in previous weeks and months, you know, this has been tested a few times. We've seen quite a strong reaction from it a few times as well. So, you know, we broke above it. This was last week. We saw some bearish divergence on the 4-hour time frame, if I remember rightly. Yeah, so we saw, all right, price increasing, we saw momentum decreasing, and then we saw this breakdown. Now, what I talked about last week in the video where you couldn't hear me was that I was going to continue to run the high risk bots whilst we were above this support, and we had an alert set on this support. If the daily candle closed below there, that it would turn that bot off and to stop all deals. Obviously that didn't happen. We saw this kind of double bottom before we broke back above this support here, and now we're back at some overhead resistance. Now, I'm waiting to see what happens here, whether we see a move back down to create a new higher low, so a low that's higher than this low here, higher up here, and then see whether we break back to the upside or whether we break back down below this support. So all eyes on Bitcoin right now. Anyway, let's just switch back to the update. So with that said, we left that bot running. As soon as we broke back above that support, started heading back towards that overhead resistance, I switched that bot off. Now, obviously, there's still some deals running in there. We're just going to leave them to close out themselves. And then, like everything else, you know, we've got a short bot there on MTV and a short bot on Flux. And then we've got another multi-start condition. This is one that we're testing out. Whilst it wasn't bad, it wasn't great. So we've paused that for now whilst we're spending a little bit more time looking for an alternative strategy. What I have done is switched back on this BTC builder bot. Now, you'll see in a minute that there's a lot of safety orders filled in those, given obviously the current situation of BTC. Again, these move that quickly that I'm not too concerned. And then as we scroll down, we have deeper this week where we've lost $40, and then key BUSD where we've lost in total $126. Now, interestingly, we had to switch to BUSD because they delisted USDT just around 10 days ago. So that's the reason why we're looking at BUSD. We did make some profits on the USDT version somewhere in here. Yeah, here there's $50 there. So if you take that into account, we're around $70 down on that short bot in total. Now, if we just head over very quickly to active deals, you'll see, like I mentioned, there's a fair amount of red. But again, these are predominantly the BTC deals. Now, again, these move really, really quickly. So I'm not really that concerned right now. We've got a Flux short open, which has got all 6 of its safety orders filled. We're on the track to take 1% there. So that's currently at $6 in the red, but we'd be looking at around $12 worth of Flux if we close that deal out, which is good. And then for the rest, these are just the ones that are left over from the that high risk bot that we're talking about a little bit earlier. So in total here, we've got $218 of unrealized losses. We're going to leave these USDT pairs to close out, and then we're working on another strategy, a multi-pair strategy for 3-commons as well. So that covers everything for this video. I think this one was a bit longer than usual, so thank you for bearing with me. If you've got any questions, any comments, you can leave those in the comment section below. You can also jump into Discord, leave a group to that link to that group in the description below. And yeah, that's the update for this week. So thank you very much, everybody, and goodbye.